There we are. Welcome, everybody, to 1TS here on Tuesday night. It is Paving the Way. I'm Andrew. You don't care about me. That is the Queen of Carnage,
Wait a minute,
Medusa.
you just said that like I'm a fucking piece of bread? That?
She is the Queen of Carnage, Medusa. How about that?
Oh
Get my
my
pronouns right. Are
God.
you going Vince McMahon on me early?
Fuck that. No,
Pronouns, pal.
don't worry
Pronouns.
about pronouns. I don't care. I don't care. I am a she, and I am Medusa, and I am MADE, USA, made in the USA, bitch.
Level 5 bitch and the Queen of Carnage. Speaking of the Queen of Carnage,
Speaking to the
let's welcome your Queen of Carnage followers in tonight, Medusa, because of a scheduling snafu that really wasn't a snafu, just a misunderstanding. We are on your YouTube channel live, the Queen of Carnage channel. So anybody watching,
what? Why are we on my YouTube live?
Because there was a scheduling thing, and this is
wait. I want to know who is on True One fucking
nobody. They just had it misscheduled. That's all. So
well, then why aren't we on there?
Because I already put the announcement out that we were switching to your channel because this is your channel.
Not that I'm complaining, but I mean, True One,
hit the like and subscribe button.
True One Dingleberry Sports.
Yeah, hit the like and subscribe button to the Queen of Carnage channel and give Medusa the love.
Marcus, you're fired.
Again, it was just a misunderstanding. Half of it was my fault.
There you go, sucking goddamn hot air, wind.
We're not throwing anybody under the bus tonight, Medusa. Well, maybe
look at that hair. What the
Bret Hart is the top
hair?
Look at that hair. Yeah, 39 and a full head of it. Don't hate.
I'm not hating, but what? It looks like a flapjack. What is that on your head? It's just like
a hairline. First it's my feet. Now you're talking about my hairline.
No, the hairline is over here. You got it parted over here and then flipped over like Donald Trump. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. But speaking of,
listen, red orange man.
We're in an hour. We're in and out. Okay. So obviously want to remind people of a couple of things. Medusa has action figures, Powertown and Mattel. But I don't have photographs of them because instead, you know.
Do you have one?
No, you know how I do things.
You're such a level 5 bitch.
I know. We do have merchandise, though. Look at it. It's in the box. It's Medusa, Shawn Michaels, Davey Boy Smith, and Isaac Yankem, the governor of Knox County, Tennessee. And those are the Mattel figures. She's Alundra Blaze. She's not Medusa. And they're the WWF collection, even though they got the F out back in 2002. This is your retro pack. We also, if you want anything Medusa, all you have to do,
go to Medusa.com.
Go to Medusa.com right here. I've got it up on the screen for you.
Oh my God, look at that.
So this is Medusa.com. You can see
home. Wow, we're really pushing Medusa tonight. I feel nice.
Look at that logo up in the corner. Red, white, and blue, high heels, and the crown, just the way she likes it.
Just like you like to wear high heels.
You know I do. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen because we have one other thing to share, and that is where you can find some merchandise. Medusa has new merchandise.
And it's not STD either.
So. At 1TS, not STD, which does not stand for severe tire damage or sexually transmitted disease. Instead, it is One True Sport. And you can see here we've got the Medusa.
Is that a koozie?
Trailblazing. That is a coffee cup, ma'am. You have a glossy mug now where people can drink.
I am a coffee fiend. I didn't even know I had one, so I need to get a coffee cup. I can turn you to stone. Or no, you've been stoned by Medusa. That'd be cool. Fucking koozie.
You know, these days, that could mean something completely different.
Oh, you've been stoned by... Oh, well, that RVD will be taking the credit for that. Damn it.
He is a member of our One True Sport family. We do love RVD. Such a laid back dude too. Like it's
RVD. He was so nice at the CAC. Like this year, him and his wife came up to me and they're like, Medusa, I just want to let you know that we don't have tickets for the CAC or the dinner tickets. And I just want to make it known that we are going to purchase ours. And I'm like, that was really nice. And I'm just looking at these two and they're very sweet people. And I mean, there I thought, well, who in the hell does that nowadays? RVD did. I almost asked him for a fucking gummy bear.
Perfect. Before we get into today's topic, I want to hit something real quick. Our friend, the Instagram wrestling historian, has hit us with your first super chat of the night. Super
Ooh,
chats get your questions to the top. Tonight's topics are going to be a little bit about All Out, not much, and then we're jumping to Bret Hart, and we're going to try to get to 1997. Probably won't, because we got a
maybe.
hard out at 8:58.
8:55.
Whatever.
Because I'm gonna watch your
Who
favorite hairstylist, Donald Trump and fucking Kamala on the debate tonight. Yes, go ahead.
who did you want to wrestle at Evolution one-on-one? So you get to pick
Mm,
anybody. Who did you want to wrestle at Evolution
who
one-on-one?
was all there?
I honestly
I
don't know.
don't remember.
I don't know. But I mean, this is your show, ma'am. Who do you want to wrestle at Evolution one-on-one?
You know what I would like to do?
What's
Let's say I would really love for I mean, look at what WWE is doing, right? WWE is bringing back they just signed what? Hogan, they just signed Jacqueline, just signed Lisa. They just signed I mean, these are all on Legends contracts, right? I'm under a Legends contract. And I text Lisa on the side and I said, "Girl, this is my like fantasy match now. Maybe we'll be in a video game together and we can finally wrestle each other." So that's kind of cool. But whatever, it's not good enough. But if like it would be really cool to be to have a final match. You know what I mean? I would like to like train for like 3 months, go down with Natty, train, do my thing, blah 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 blah. I'd love to go out to Dustin Rhodes, maybe roll around there for a while, and then yeah, and then go and do some boxing and kickboxing and some strategic training. And I really, really, really would like to have some type of small angle in a match, right? Doesn't mean necessary I have to lay down in the middle of the ring and be counted out 1, 2, 3. That's not just whatever. Or me to pin somebody. It's just having that angle and and continuing the legacy of whatever. I would really love for that to happen. But to get back to his question, who did you want to wrestle? I mean, I just wanted to wrestle. The only thing that kept me from that battle royale thing. Now, Ivory, if you saw Ivory in there, that was my spot originally. They had me in there in Ivory spot. But because I just had a total knee replacement at like 7 months prior, it wasn't even a year, it was like 7 months. And I knew WWE was going to pull this. So I went to the doctor. I got a doctor's note saying, yes, I could wrestle. I could do it. It's healthy. It's whatever. And I brought it with me. So I'm getting ready, doing my thing. And I told him that I just had a knee replacement 7 months ago, but I'm good to go. Here's my release. And then right before we're getting ready to go, they're like, Blaze, we can't let you even in the ring. This is right before the whole battle royal thing I was in, guys. It's crazy. And so I was like, oh, this shit ain't happening. Bullshit. I said, get another doctor because this is bullshit. Here's my release. I'm doing it. So they had to come up with another release. I had to like double, triple sign this release. Like, if anything ever happened, blah, 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 upon what I've already signed, which is, giving your fucking firstborn. And I did. So anyway, I was supposed to last as long as Ivory, but they exchanged the areas and she got to be there and I had to go out sooner. So, but it was really cool cuz I wrestled I had a moment with Asuka and what was it? Not Bianca. Oh, what's her name? Damn it, the glow girl. Oh, what is her name? Come back to me on EM. Anyway, so that was cool. But the whole evolution, I mean, I think I'd want to be with someone that you could have a good psychology match and just have fun and don't have to worry about too much. And I guess the one of the main ones would have been Natty for sure at that time. That could have carried my ass just in case something happened. I'd love to have a match with Beth Phoenix. That would be great. Um, yeah. So anyway, there's that all in a roundabout way. I can't hear you. You're muted, dumbass.
I
Yeah, you're
muted
still
myself because I was taking a drink of my not prime.
good.
We'll talk about him on Trash Talk.
Oh,
Mr. Logan
Logan.
Paul. Yeah,
Yes.
because you harassing me about my prime intake, so
Mhm.
it's just a little Kool-Aid juice gimmick. It's not even Kool-Aid. There's no sugar in it. It's just the
Naomi,
whole
thank you. It was Naomi. Thank you.
Naomi. Okay, perfect. Um, anyway,
Yes,
so
back on schedule, please.
yeah, let's get back on track. Okay,
Yeah, let's
we
get
got
back. Speaking of track, I like to troll on social media sometimes, and I saw something really cool about Bret today, and it
well,
just made me shake my head.
we don't want to jump to Bret yet
Oh, I'm just
because
telling you, I saw something cool between an exchange between Triple H and Bret. I thought
the
it was
fact
kind
that
of funny.
the fact that you're using really cool and Bret Hart in the same sentence is tragic.
Oh, fuck off.
I feel about Bret
Ah.
about like I do CM Punk, so this is going to be a
Yeah.
great
Oh,
show.
yeah. Well, okay. Three of your favorite people: CM Punk, Bret, and Donald Trump. That's
Donald
perfect.
Trump, all of them together. No,
Okay.
in all seriousness, I was going to ask you real quick about All Out, and we're not going to talk about this
No,
topically,
no, let's not.
match by match, because there were 9 of them.
Yeah.
Um, what I
Too
want to
much
get your
violence, motherfucker.
what I want to get your opinion on is the violence. I'm going to show a few photos.
Oh,
Here we
okay.
go. Start with Willow and Statlander.
Yeah.
That is a glass light tube sword sort of
Are we
thing.
back at ECW? What are we doing?
Hold on. That's Statlander doing the splits into the tacks.
Yeah, I saw that. That's got to be. I don't know. I think a dildo would have been more comfortable than all them tacks, but okay.
And maybe live too. I don't know. God, why do you say things like that? Spear through the table from the ramp.
What?
Yeah. Oh, we got better in the main event. That the sanctioned main event. Brian Danielson defeated Jack Perry. Not a big shocker. The
Yeah.
shocker was when they kicked him out of the Blackpool Combat Club effectively, and a mafia hit, and Moxley chokes him out with the black bag or a plastic bag. So that happened on pay-per-view, a la Terry Funk and Ric Flair back in '89.
All we needed was a horse head. Okay.
Yep. I sent you this one, power bomb on the cinder block.
Hmm.
And
That's
then,
good.
oh, it gets better. Hold on. Because I love this stuff.
Who is
Staple
that?
gun.
Moxley?
This is Swerve and Adam Page, Hangman
I
Adam
mean,
Page.
Adam Page. Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And then a hypodermic needle into the cheek. And I'm glad this picture is somewhat blurry, but it really was the best one I could find.
Uh-huh.
Somebody stuck a needle in his mouth. Hold that thought, Medusa.
It really was a needle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Broken chair on the head. So the way this was shot, Hangman, this is a lights out steel cage match. They're going to call a knockout finish here. Hangman takes this chair and wraps it around Swerve's head, as you can see. But when he swung it, the camera angle changed and they pulled all the way out to the audience, and then they zoomed back in, and this is the picture you got. So I say all that, and I know I sent you a few questions in advance of this.
yes.
It's all on the same card. Every bit of that is on the same card. And what we didn't talk about is MJF and Daniel Garcia start the night, which is typical. If MJF's not in the main event, he's going to be the first match. But they start the match with blood. So they're bleeding in the first match. You got this women's street fight, this gang-like hit with the plastic bag, and then a steel cage match that was over the top. And I forgot to mention, Swerve's house got burned down on Wednesday. He had the pictures of his house being burned down on his tights, which was phenomenal. Talk about a turnaround, since that was clearly not part of the story. And then there was a piece of the house in the match they used where he got stabby with it. But hypodermic needle, cinder block, steel chair. This is Tony Khan. This is AEW. I personally liked the violent aspect of it. Could have completely done without the hypodermic needle. I'm not going to lie about it. You, as a professional wrestler, producer, trainer, what do you make of all of this? And again, Medusa, it's in one night, one pay-per-view. And for context, it's in front of a 10,000 person crowd in Chicago.
Well, stick with me here. So AEW. So either you're going to be running a sister company as or emulating ECW and have this kind of stuff all the time, and then keep AEW your primo, or I don't know. But I think that when you start off with blood, and MJ, he knows better than this, that you come in on the first match just taken away from everything, and then you have to escalate it thereafter every time. It leaves little to the imagination, and it expects more from the fans each time. And what are we actually going to do? Are we actually going to commit murder? You know what I mean? I mean, are we actually going to come out with, I mean, I was going to say real violence, but I know as a wrestler, a lot of this shit hurts, and some of it is violent and some of it is major contact. I mean, doing the splits on the tacks are no joke. I'm sure a light bulb is no joke. I'm sure being power bombed on a damn cinder block is no joke. There's no way to dummy a lot of that stuff, except the dummies taking it or doing it. My God, I don't know. When I mean dummy, I don't mean like they're dumb. They're not. They're just, or allow this to happen in every single match. And it's got to be saved for a little bit, maybe in a center and then a main eventer. And if people say, oh, that's just old school thinking, it's changed, you can have excitement in every single match. Well, I'm already worn out after the third one, and nothing surprises me, basically. I don't know. I could have done without a lot of it. Willow in her position has gotten better, but she got lucky. She got lucky to where she's at. She's lucky to be in the position she is, and you know, I hope that she continues to train and practice and use her ability to better, you know, herself in the situation and control and having her voice, because she does have a big voice about certain things in the world. So maybe she can use that towards, you know, stifling in some of the things that she's doing right now in her career and so young in it. Just because you have a light bulb tack match doesn't make you a great worker, period. I'm not just zeroing in on those two, because both of them have the ability to be fantastic, and Statlander especially, right? So I don't I on their defense, I didn't see the buildup before that match. Could you tell me why they had that match?
Which one? What, Statlander and Willow?
Yeah.
So Statlander and Willow were friends. They were good friends. Stokely is a manager. He gets in Statlander's ear. Statlander turns on Willow after she loses to Mercedes Moné in a TBS title defense, and they've been feuding ever since. So they've had several matches, including one in Wembley at All In that was a mixed tag match, or they was a tag match. So
they felt like they needed a street fight match to finish this.
This should be the blow off of this, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
This type of match should be the blow off. As for the Swerve and Paige match, that's gone on a year. And they really did have Swerve break into Paige's house. And they really did have Paige, quote, burn down Swerve's house. So at some point, you have to ask the question, and I made a joke on social, how many felonies are they going to commit in this match? I mean, genuinely, what's the line on the felonies that they're going to commit in this match? And I sent you the video.
So that's pretty good, though. They've been going at that for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think the violence was appropriate.
Yes, for that one it was. Yes.
What took me out of the match, though, Medusa, is what the fuck does a hypodermic needle belong in professional wrestling in any way.
Well, maybe they're, playing tribute to the past and he felt like he needed a hit of steroid. I don't know.
God bless you for that. What was a tribute to the past was the mafioso-like hit on Bryan Danielson, which
Yes.
personally I do like, and here's why. I love Terry Funk, so when he did it to Flair in '89 on cable television, they did it on Turner. That
Yeah.
was a big deal.
It was.
The other thing that was a big deal about that particular thing is Moxley's been the guy that's carried AEW for so long that you can't get fans to boo him. So
I
how
don't
are you
think
going to
he's carried AEW.
He's been the face
No.
of AEW for a long time, ma'am.
He's been there a long time, but I don't think he's the one that's carried it.
Well, we disagree, and that's okay. So Moxley has been an important piece of AEW for a long time. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
And fans universally love him. So the way you get them to boo him is to attack the beloved babyface Bryan Danielson in this, like I said, mafia-like hit.
That's the best thing he could have done.
I think so.
Yes.
But there were people that criticized it because, to your point, are we really going to commit murder on pay-per-view? Yeah. Maybe. But you know what?
But maybe with that happening, we could actually see that happening, right? You have Moxley turning that way, which is a fantastic move, by the way. And then this happening to Danielson, then I can see Brie coming in to his rescue sometime, right? And then she starts getting the shit beat out of her. And then here comes Nikki going, wait. Oh my God. And then we really have shit hit the fan. And then there's, Nikki's husband comes to think that he's going to rescue her after all.
I get no support from your fans. Look at this. CB says Jon Moxley is the drizzling shits. So there you go.
There you go.
But AEW is his wrestling style. I don't think that's debatable, particularly if this is the type of matches you're going to put on and the angles.
So people have always come up to me just saying that Moxley's dry as fuck. He's just boring. He's just a gruntled man and I'm like, well, if that's how he's getting to you, then something's working. So I don't know. Maybe if you think he's the drizzling shits, is because he angers you because of his presence or his attitude or what?
I don't know. Let me answer Renee. Maybe I misspoke here, Renee. What I'm saying is he seems to be universally loved by AEW fans. If you happen to be an AEW fan that doesn't love Jon Moxley, I do apologize if I've overspoken here. Okay.
No, I think that Moxley's been shoved down people's throats.
That might be it then too.
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts on Moxley that don't match up with the universal love. I think that he's fine. I think that he's bailed them out of a couple things, particularly when he was supposed to go away and didn't go away. But
a lot of people show that momentum for a company that are just as important, if not more. I mean, it just isn't one savior.
No, but he's been a good soldier for Tony Khan and in a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
And we don't have time for another CM Punk discussion, but CM Punk was involved in one of those ways. But anyway,
yeah.
Who would not approve of all of this hardcore violence is the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. Bret.
Oh, that's me. Oh, you mean Bret Hart. Okay.
So we've got roughly 30-ish minutes, and we're not even going to scratch the surface on Bret Hart. So for those of you playing along at home...
Wait a minute. Moxley is a cosplay Stone Cold Steve Austin. See, people can't stand Moxley.
Well, there you go. Maybe I'm wrong. It's okay if I'm wrong. I don't mind.
I think he's got that great, who Moxley reminds me of, and I really would love to see him in this position, is some fucking horror flick. Like, he comes across as a goddamn serial killer.
That's true.
Yeah.
Allegedly, the character he's playing is some like neo-Nazi out of a movie based out of Australia in the 1990s or early 2000s. I forget the name of it. Somebody will have it.
That don't even sound interesting.
I've actually seen the movie by accident, and it wasn't that great.
Why doesn't he just come out as Hitler then?
I don't know, because Nazis aren't cool, even if you're Fritz von Erich. But anyway, well, Fritz von Erich was a Nazi. Don't laugh at me. That's legit. That is legit.
I can't believe I know,
Um,
but you just put it out there. People are going on the internet now.
What about Eric? Now,
You
he
just
played a
fucking
Nazi,
told
folks.
everybody that
Wasn't a
they
Nazi. Who did not play a Nazi, of course, is the hitman Bret Hart. Eventually, we're going to get to him. Medusa spent some time with Bret Hart. Bret Hart is the face of the new generation. Credentials out the yin yang. Guys, I know based on our schedule tonight, we are not going to get through all of Bret Hart's career. So, as I was alluding to before the John Moxley comment about Stone Cold, or comparison, which may or may not be fair. Cosplay, I mean, that's absolutely, absolutely okay to think that because this is wrestling and we can be subjective. Is that this is part one, and we'll probably follow up with a part two, if not a part three. And Medusa has muted herself because she just took a phone call live on the air. Put him
No,
on the
I
air next time.
okay, listen. I just texted my husband and asked him to bring in me a bottle of water, a-hole. So
I
there.
got you.
Okay.
Yes, we love Sarge. Tell him.
Oh,
Um,
Sarge. See, they love
so
you, Sarge.
So Bret
Yeah.
Hart comes to the WWE in the 80s, obviously works with Anvil, Natty's father. So if you ever wonder in a text message why I call him Uncle Bret, it is because Natty Neidhart refers to Bret Hart as Uncle Bret, and she
Yeah.
never tells people that her dad is the Anvil. If I had a choice to pick between the Anvil and Bret Hart who to claim, I'm picking the Anvil. That's
I'm
all it is
picking
to it.
well, Anvil. Okay, so I traveled with both of them. Okay.
Please
And
tell us, seriously.
oh, Lord have mercy. Let me tell you about those bus rides with those two. So Anvil, we always had to go looking for, you know. They'd always send me Deuce, Deuce, go get him, go get him, you know. And then Brett would be in the fucking bus or he'd be out somewhere and he'd be drawing cartoons of the night before. And I ripped one of his cartoons off and I kept it and I have it somewhere. I swear to God, I'm going to find it one day. And it's not something I probably would publish because it probably would hurt a lot of people. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing in some of his artwork that he did. He was really good. Brett was amazing with his artwork and his little storytelling within the characters he would draw.
Well, and that's what he always took pride in being. You know, I've heard Bruce Pritchard say it. I've heard Jim Ross say it. Others that he was an artist in the ring. That was who
Yeah,
Bret Hart wanted to be. Was the quote artiste, to say it that way.
very
Um,
creative. Yeah.
when did you first meet Bret? Was it in '93 or was it before then?
I don't know. I think it was in WWF.
Okay.
I really do. I think it was thanks, babe. They said they love the Sarge. He said yes. Um, yes. So I think it
Well, we
was WWF in 93 or whatever when I first met him and we were on the road.
because you guys would both be champions, and our thumbnail even has both of the belts on there. Of
Yeah.
course, Bret's lineage, he gets the tag titles a couple times. He works heel with Anvil. They turn babyface. They get rid of Jimmy Hart. That's all 80s pre Medusa. Obviously, you're in AWA in Japan and elsewhere, even WCW. He wins the Intercontinental title, SummerSlam '91, New York City, from
Ooh,
from Kurt Hennig, Mr.
yes,
Perfect.
my man.
So there you go. Talk to us about Kurt and Bret and what type of wrestling match that is, what relationship, anything you can share with us.
Well, first of all, those two having a match together is something that you would see the wrestlers in the back in the day when you had curtains, and some of them would be bent over, the other ones would be kneeling on the back and peeking out above them. Everybody would be watching a match like that, by the way. If it was Bret Hart and Kurt Hennig, oh my God, it's like the whole back room stopped. And that was amazing because we really didn't have monitors. You had monitors in the Gorilla and, maybe one small TV somewhere back in Vince's room or whatever the hell, right? But oh my God. So everyone would be busting through the curtain to look. And that type of match wasn't methodical. It was very technical because Kurt Hennig could go. He could fucking wrestle. The one thing about Kurt, he was very just psychologically tuned in to the match. And all he would have to do is the way Kurt did, like from Bret would go to give him something and Kurt would miss. Bret would give him something. And it was like Kurt would turn around and take one step and his gum would go flying out of his mouth. And then he'd take about 10 seconds and he would kind of walk around and then finally take a bump. And it was just so artistic. And Bret, you just being able to tell that he's enjoying the match because they're giving each other. They're giving to each other. It was so beautiful. And Bret, you could see he kind of smile a little bit, just kind of it was just good. To me, that was just good stuff. Those are matches you'd want to watch.
Well, and both of them are known to be able to get a match out of just about anybody.
Yeah.
Do you think Kurt's overselling in any way bothered Bret, or was that because that was who Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig was?
But he never changed his style.
That's what I was going to ask. Because that's who he was, they knew what they were going to do. Because Kurt and Bret wrestled in the late 80s. Before the 91 match, they wrestled in the late 80s. They did the house show loops.
Kurt was that way in AWA.
Okay.
When I was with him wrestling in AWA. In fact, I was his manager in AWA. So, I mean, nothing changed. I learned a lot just standing outside the ring and watching and being his, back then, ballet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we know Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, will be a topic on this show coming up.
Oh, whatever.
So in 91, Bret is made as a singles wrestler. WrestleMania 7, a few months prior, he and Anvil lose the titles to the Nasty Boys with a little help from their former manager, Jimmy Hart, who hands over a motorcycle helmet. They get the pin. Anvil and Bret kind of go separate ways. Bret ends up being in this Intercontinental title picture. Now, the Intercontinental title picture, Medusa, that's the worker belt of WWE. That's why Kurt Hennig had it. That's why Macho Man had it. That's why Tito had it. That's why Ricky the Dragon Steamboat had it.
But see, those guys there could take it anywhere and go with it. You know what I mean? It wasn't just a territory, just a plain territory. That Intercontinental, to me, I felt was prestigious at the time. I thought it was a big deal to have that.
That's what I was just going to ask you. So when Bret is officially, they decide he's the guy.
Yeah.
We're going to put the Intercontinental title on him. For you, you're saying that's a ringing endorsement.
I think so. The Intercontinental. Yeah, I did at the time. I just thought it was pretty cool to be selective. Whenever a company selects you to be their champion of any sort, or to be a people's champion and given the prestigious people's champion, I think it says a lot what they think about you as a person at the time, that they feel that you can carry this company and carry the talent to a different level.
So Bret will hold the title, and then he'll lose it to the Mountie, Jacques Rougeau, and then he'll get it back. And then he won't get it back, excuse me. Piper will take it, and they have a match at WrestleMania 8, Piper and Bret. Piper obviously has, ties to the Hart family, excuse me. That was a great match if you've never seen it, WrestleMania 8. I'll recommend that to anybody.
Was there, I'm sorry, was there any women's wrestling on that one?
Probably not. Don't make
just
me
checking in.
Ma'am, it's a Tuesday. Don't make me lie to you. But
hey, anybody out there, can you check? Was there a women's match on WrestleMania 8? Just checking in.
I really don't think there was, but anyway.
I digress. Okay. Yes.
So Rowdy and Bret have this match that's very memorable, but there's a no juicing policy, and they get color anyway. Like Bret would get color. He's done this more than once. They thought they needed color for the match. Look at the baby. Hold on, we're diverting here. There she is. She's got her hair just the way she likes it.
Awesome. I'm still listening. Hi, honey.
So anyway, they do a little gig line, all this stuff, and Roddy's going to hit him with the belt, doesn't hit him with the bell, and Bret, he goes for the sleeper. Bret reverses a pinfall. But my point to say that is, Roddy Piper for a very long time was somebody who did not lose wrestling matches. He didn't do the job very often to Hulk Hogan. That's why he had Orndorff in the WrestleMania 1 match. That's why they had the bullshit finish with Mr. T at WrestleMania 2. He beat Adrian Adonis, if I'm not mistaken, at WrestleMania 3. My point to say any of this, Medusa, Piper is going to give Hart the Intercontinental title again. What type of endorsement is that from Roddy? That he's willing
Well, it
to do
speaks volumes from what you were just saying. Because if a man that would never, let alone lose a match or, lay down for somebody, but yet give up a title at the same time, he's given the nod to Bret.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. I'm not sure, Mr. Seidel, what you mean. No,
there was not any women's.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I apologize. That's not shocking. That's not shocking. And I hate that. So Bret, of course, Intercontinental Champ again. Roddy
Did you
does
see that? WW2K424, Bret and Piper's the showcase.
There you go. That's how good that match is. Wow. That is how good. And it was in the Hoosier Dome. And it.
Do you know that WrestleMania 10 was one of the top 5, top 10, or top WrestleManias?
Are you trying to get in front of our notes? Stop it.
No, I'm just saying. But because Bret was there too. Just saying.
No women's match. Yeah, that's terrible. Now you can't get now you can't not have women's matches because they're so good, and most of the time they're better than the men in many ways. But anyway,
I don't know. We still.
I said that. I said it. Folder's wrong because of his drawing.
There are good women wrestlers. Hell yeah. Yep. You got to be able to give them better storylines and give them longer matches yeah.
So that's one thing about Bret Hart too, is he was always going to get his time in. Yes. And he even got heat for it. But what does that say? What does that say to you about Bret if he's willing to, Medusa, you got 12 minutes, but he's going to take 17. Well, how do you feel about that as a worker? And you're on the card.
Well, again, I think it's no disrespect, Bret, but it's disrespectful, meaning that if you feel like you want that, you need it, or it's owed to you, it's not. That's what it's programmed. It's programmed there, and you're taken away from someone else's spots. As we can see that even in recent times, when men go over, women's matches get cut, and it's an ongoing bullshit thing. So it's very inconsiderate. And I just, I love Bret to death, but it is what it is, man.
No, and I get that. So Bret's going to move on to Wembley, SummerSlam. Now, this is how good Bret Hart is, Medusa. And I want your candid thoughts on this, and I know you're always going to give them to your audience. This was not in the notes because actually it was a comment that CB made right here. I'll put it on the screen. This is why we do this on the fly sometimes. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. That was SummerSlam 91, King of the Ring 93 on pay-per-view anyway. And Bret Hart versus the British Bulldog for the Intercontinental Championship match is best of all time. So Bret Hart, Perfect, SummerSlam 91 in New York City. British Bulldog, Bret Hart, Wembley Stadium in England.
Yeah.
This match goes on last. It is not the main event of that. The world title match, I believe, is Randy Savage Ultimate Warrior in a bullshit finish with Flair involved and all this other stuff. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah. You can imagine the lunacy in that.
See, even me knowing that wouldn't have been my main event. It would have been Bret Hart and British.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Your main event is Davey Boy Smith versus.
Excuse me.
Davey Boy Smith versus Bret Hart. Davey Boy's the challenger. Of course, they're in-laws too. You've got Diana in the picture, which they'll come back to that angle more than once during Bret's career, along with Davey Boy in WWF before the WWE days. But Davey Boy and Bret lay out this match, and they're going to call a lot of it in the ring, but they lay out some certain spots. It is been said that Davey Boy went on a crack bender the night before and forgot all the spots in the ring. And Bret Hart carried, better way to say it, a hungover, strung out, whatever that happens to be, post-party Davey Boy Smith to arguably one of the best matches in SummerSlam history. Do you believe that?
That it
Or not?
was one of the best matches in history, or
No,
that
I was
he
being a little
carried his
sarcastic.
ass?
You believe that he had the ability to carry him like that? Just was Bret that type of worker that could carry somebody who probably should not have been in the wrestling ring?
If he was that bad, and of course we all know you shouldn't be, but at that time, back in those days, there was no saying no, and the show went on, and if he was able to walk and talk and do whatever he needed to do, then yeah. If he was absolutely stoned out of his mind or drunk or drugged up and he couldn't walk, of course they wouldn't have had it. But he was able to do something, and yes, Brett probably called it. And just think about it. It was called a ragdoll match, really. It just fucking he was there feeding him, and he did what he did. And he was so ragdolled that it was just he was probably selling the best he ever did in his whole career. you know?
Yeah, Davey Boy will hold the Intercontinental title for a couple months, so he'll lose it on a Saturday night's main event to Shawn, and then of course he and Warrior fired steroids in November or October of '92.
Huh.
But what else happened in October of '92? Bret Hart loses the Intercontinental title, but becomes the world champion.
Yeah. From who?
The Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Yeah, I bet Rick loved that.
Saskatoon. Well, I have a couple questions about this, but it was Saskatoon, '92.
Again, in Canada,
In
serving
Canada.
Yes.
Yep. And CB on that Intercontinental match, Bulldog almost broke Bret's legs when both went over the ropes. So again, he probably was not in a condition to perform Medusa because he'd been out partying and all that. And Bret made them. If you've ever seen the match, and this is not just you, I'm talking about everybody. This match is fantastic. And again, I'm not necessarily a Bret Hart guy, but it's mostly because of the out of the ring stuff, not the in the ring. And
no, it's because Bret carried it. It was a ragdoll match. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's you're absolutely right. So Flair does the job. Here's the big gold. This is that picture from that night. This is actually the eagle. Excuse me, not the big gold. I said Flair, and that's automatically big gold, But anyway,
so wasn't it around '92 when Flair actually left WCW and went to WWF with the title?
July the 1st, '91. Flair is fired by Jim Herd, and he leaves for WWF. He sent the belt to Bobby Heenan because they owed him a deposit, and he wanted the interest too. It was like 38 grand. And Bobby Heenan actually put it on television, and then they had a cease and desist and a lawsuit. And Flair shows up in WWF, and then ends up running for about 18 months. Yeah. He loses a loser leave town match to Mr. Perfect in January of '93 and heads back to WCW.
Back to WCW. So that's what it was. So Flair, he was coming in to wrestle Bret?
No.
What was that?
Flair was the champ. He won the Royal Rumble in '92, which was for the title. Yeah. He lost it to Savage at WrestleMania. He got it back on a house show, and then he loses it to Bret. Okay. The reason he's lost it to Bret, according to Vince McMahon, is Vince says, and you got to remember, this is '92. I just told you, Bulldog's getting fired for steroids. Sid Vicious is all of a sudden gone.
Hogan but Sid Vicious was gonna. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't all of a sudden gone. Vince wanted him to be the next fucking Hulk Hogan, bro.
Yeah, bro. And he left after WrestleMania 8.
Only because probably, I don't know. I'm just assuming here that there's no way in hell that Terry was gonna let that happen.
Well, Terry was gone. That's the thing. Like, Hulk was out of the picture, and the steroids trial's coming down. The federal government.
That's what I mean. He doesn't need to be there to not make it happen. All he has to say is, "I know too much."
Well, there you go. So my question is for you. Do you believe Vince McMahon wanted to go younger? Because Flair is 43, I believe, at the time. Somebody will fact check me. But I believe he's 43. Do you believe he wanted to go younger, or do you think he needed a smaller professional wrestler for optics thanks to the steroid trial?
What year was this? 92?
92. October 92.
And Flair was 43?
Flair was 43. Yes, I believe I have that right.
Hey guys, if I was born in 63, how old was I in 92?
63, 92,
36?
20. No.
No.
63 to 93 is only 30, honey. It'd be 29.
So I'd be 20, 30. Okay,
Yeah.
so about. So
Make me do math on the air. Come on now.
so I'm going to tell you this. I think it's bullshit because there's no way in hell that Vince is saying that Ric Flair is too old at 43 because in 92, if I was only 30, and I really didn't start until late 93, 94, I didn't get hired into the WWF until I was, what, 32 years old? That's bullshit. Rick was 43. Yeah. So, I mean, to hire an older woman at 32 years old? No. I just don't buy that.
So would you say it was the optics that he needed because of the
Maybe.
steroid trial?
Yeah,
Potentially.
a big old change. I mean, it's not that Rick looked like he was on steroids back then, did it? I mean, he wasn't your typical steroid looking guy, Ric Flair.
No, but what I'm saying is if they're going to go ahead and present themselves as a clean company, not using steroids, Bret Hart, Ric Flair, Macho Man, even though Macho probably had the juice back during the
Oh
Mega
my God.
but and then during the Team Madness days of WCW.
Oh shit.
I said it, not Medusa. But in all seriousness, the smaller guys, not the Hogan, not the Sid, those were the people that he was focusing on. And I don't believe in coincidence by and large, Medusa. I don't think it's a coincidence that Bret is the one he taps. Because Flair did have a vertigo issue. But he's wrestling a WWE schedule, which what in 92? 300 days minimum?
Back then it was a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a ton. Far more than they wrestle today.
Oh,
and
God.
far more than
Pamper, more money, less work.
Yeah, exactly.
But I shouldn't say that because I've watched it today. And the things that the kids got going on today are completely different from what we had back then. So when I say that, it's on a whole different spectrum. So I watched the day in the life, let's say like a Charlotte. So her day is fulfilled. Like you've got 5 people that are her around her, basically. I'm just saying hypothetically. One is always doing, checking, doing like social media, and you've got makeup and you got hair and you've got clothes, and then you've got someone, 2 people prancing you around. You got to go do this and social media, and then you got to do this. And there's a lot more logistics, I think, technically with the human than there was back in the day. So we wrestled a lot more, but I think there's more logistics going on with an individual, which could be mind consuming and draining. And when you're mentally drained, it's hard to lift that weight, hypothetically. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So Bret's going to have the title 92 October until he runs into your favorite, Yokozuna.
Yes.
WrestleMania 9, Las Vegas, the debut of Jim Ross. We saw the 2 Doinks, Money Inc. versus Hogan and Beefcake. I forget what else was on that show. Macho Man comes in they're carrying him, on one of them, what they call cars or whatever. But this is an image that most people that saw WrestleMania 9 remember. So the way the match ends, Bret's going for the sharpshooter. Has Yoko's legs in the sharpshooter, which that in itself is very, very impressive. I don't care what anybody says. Because Yoko, even in 93, Yoko was 450, maybe 475, but he was not probably 550 pounds or whatever they had him advertised.
He was busting toilets, yes.
But he was big. Bret picks his legs up, has him in the sharpshooter. Fuji throws the salt in the eyes. Yoko wins the title. Here comes our hero, Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan. Who beats Yoko in 18 seconds for the title. So Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, leaves the 5-time WWF champion from WrestleMania 9. Bret Hart leaves without the belt. This is why I bring this up, Medusa. Bruce Pritchard has stated over and again and again and over and over and again that the whole reason they put the title on Hulk, who had come back, a couple months prior, was to have the European tour so they could draw. Bret Hart is a big, fucking deal in Europe.
Yeah.
So in a loud, clear voice for all of your fans to hear, is Bruce full of shit or what is this?
Bruce knows more than we do, or he's just the best swerver in the business. So he's the one that worked with them behind the scenes. So who are we to say, who are we to tell Bruce if he's right or wrong? Either he's a great bullshitter or else it's the truth, right? Bruce he's a smooth talker anyway, and I don't know why he would lie about that, but I think there's some things we'll never know.
Damn, you gave a company answer. I hate when you do that. But no, in all seriousness, one of the reasons too they returned to Bret is he is, and after Hulk leaves,
he is the company man. They
well,
could
he's a
always
big
rely
guy,
on him.
and he was an international star. Bret Hart on the marquee over in Europe drew money. And they knew he was going to have good wrestling matches.
Yeah.
So what was it about Bret, do you think, that European audiences like so much?
That he was a more approachable, likable, accountable wrestler. He was a heartthrobber. People could relate to him. You didn't see Bret sway too much. It was just, this is Bret, this is what you're getting. And I think with Hogan, they saw more of a character, unrealistic character that is just, it was like not BS, but just, I don't know. It wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He was bigger than life, and he was great because the character, I mean, was the biggest star of the day. But for some reason, I mean, Bret really got stifled. And I'm going to say it wasn't because of, just the WWF or Vince. I think that a lot had to do with control of Terry. I don't know for sure. It's just me assuming, because why else would someone be pushed out so hard?
Well, here's the other thing that makes
and
this
fucked around with.
Yeah, it makes this difficult for Bret especially. So he loses the title to Yoko, only to have Yoko lose to Hogan. Hogan will be defeated at King of the Ring 93 after the European tour, and he's out of the company. We don't see Hulk Hogan in WWF again until 2002, when they bring back the NWO in a horrible angle. But anyway, we'll get to that some other day. Bret has said, and others have said, that the idea was to have Hulk and him at SummerSlam, to the point where they had pictures taken for marketing material that was never used. Do you buy that, Medusa? Do you remember that happened?
No. I mean, but there's a lot of things that were done even during my time. For WrestleMania 10, it was announced that I was wrestling Debbie Combs, and they already had that marketed and ready to go, but that never happened. So I mean, I might have to believe it.
I got you. So we are going to wrap up, but what we're going to wrap up with, so we have a nice breaking point, is Bret getting the title back at WrestleMania 10. You just
There's my man. That's my man right there, Yokozuna.
And look at your big man that you used to do his hair.
Yes.
Yoko.
Yes.
And Fuji looking devious as ever out there.
Yes.
So Bret Hart runs 93 without the world title. Yoko's got the title. Yoko takes on Undertaker at Rumble. Bret wins the Rumble along with Lex Luger. They become the first joint pair. So they do this little triangle thing. Bret's going to wrestle Owen in the opening match of 10, which some people still say is a top 5 WrestleMania match ever. The chat, you can tell me if I'm wrong there, but I'm fairly certain I have that right, that most people are putting that in the top 5, if not 10 WrestleMania matches ever, and we've got 40 WrestleManias at this point. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Luger is going to lose to Yoko by DQ. Bret's going to beat Yoko for the title. That will end Yokozuna's run as the champ.
Is that WrestleMania 10?
That's WrestleMania 10. That's in New York City, Madison Square Garden. You were on the card.
Yeah.
This is the main event. Bret, Yoko, 10. So we know they went to Bret because of Ric Flair. they take a year off of Bret, and they have Yoko basically run, Yoko and Hogan anyway, run 93, and Yoko runs into the winter of 94, or early 94 anyway. And Bret is going to have the title until Thanksgiving, or Survivor Series rather. Bob Backlund takes the title off.
Yes.
But why did Vince go back to Bret, do you think, for this second title run?
Again, because he's a company man. He knows he can count on Bret. He knows he's not going to cause any shit. And again, it's just kind of like how he felt with me. He knew what he was getting. I was a company girl, and so was Bret.
Well, and apparently there's some Bret folks in the chat. Mr. Kelvin Sanchez says, best WrestleMania opener, Bret versus Owen. As a point of reference, Medusa, 30 years ago. 30 years ago, it's still the standard. Bret Hart, Owen Hart. Two amazing professional wrestlers.
Well, because they were dancing together and they wanted to have a great match, and they just knew they could. And it was just, I mean, it was just that beautiful, beautiful thing. It's not about putting yourself over. It's about putting the whole match and each other over and making it look good. And it's telling a story. That's what's so beautiful about that. I absolutely love it. Let me ask you. So Bret won the title from Diesel at Survivor Series?
Yes, but not until 1995. And we've stopped at 94 for a reason. Tonight's show is concluding right now. And I hate to wrap it up abruptly, folks, but we tried to warn everybody this would be 1 hour. And we only got to Bret 94 WrestleMania, but this is a good pinpoint because for the future show that we're going to do, and we'll just do part 2 the next time Medusa and I record.
Yeah, because I got some shit to say about the Montreal Screwjob.
Thank you. So 90, we're going to talk about the rest of 94, Bob Backlund. Won't talk that much about it. 95.
I got a letter from Bob.
Did you?
He mailed me a letter one time. I still have it. Maybe I should bring it.
Bring it and tell the story because he's a character and a half. I love Bob Backlund.
Dude, he's so. I remember him and I were on the road with WWF, and like him and I we'd go for lunch, do whatever. And even back then, he was like Jack LaLanne in person. Like he was the Jack LaLanne. He was drinking carrot juice like by the fucking bundles. His hands were fucking orange. He drank so much carrot juice. And he'd always tell me that this is good for you. Blaze, you need to drink carrot juice. So wherever we'd go, he'd try to get carrot juice. I'll never forget that.
So I'm going to send it to you. I didn't get a picture with him, but at NWA Legends Fest, I met him just briefly and by accident out in the parking lot.
By the way, yeah.
That dude is jacked up all the time. Like he was high energy out in the parking lot, and he hadn't even made it into the thing.
He could put his hand on your skull. I'm telling you, he could pop your size fucking 40 head.
Well, that's what he had, that strength, like the Danny Hodge,
he had the Riri strength. Yes.
Oh God. Can we say that on air? It doesn't matter because we're out of here. Next time we're going to talk about Diesel Survivor Series.
I meant that in a positive way. Like he was ultimately strong. Like
naturally strong.
Yes. Very strong.
Say natural.
He wasn't on steroids, was he?
No, he was naturally strong. But he was a very gifted, very athletic person. He had more than one time people complained in the hotel because he'd be doing step-ups. He'd take your hotel chair out of the desk, step up, down, step up, down, step up. But he would do like 500 or 1,000 of them.
He was insane doing crazy shit like that.
Yeah. So
and we were on the road. He would purposely sit by me on the bus too. And he'd say, here's your new word of the day, Blaze. And he'd give me some fucking word that's like 600 fucking letters long. And he would teach me new words. No shit.
We're going to get more Bob Backlund talk next time, folks. But seriously, the next time we record.
I got to find that letter.
It's going to be 95. It's going to be 96. It's going to be 97. And we might go to a third episode with WCW because God knows Medusa saw her share there as well.
I did. And not just that. Fuck Kevin Nash.
Oh my. You and Logan Paul on the same page today.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's a trash talk, by the way, on the Queen of Carnage YouTube.
Medusa and I. We might have to discuss that.
We may bring that up. But what we're going to do now is cut it off so we can go be good citizens. Medusa, I thank you. I appreciate you.
You're
to our
welcome,
chat.
sir.
Thank you all for joining us on this abbreviated edition of Paving the Way. Stay close.
By the
to
way,
social-
doesn't my face look great? I had
does.
a facial. I had a facial today, so you can thank my husband.
You're
Just
you're
kidding.
looking very good. You're not even wearing a t-shirt or a hat today. Not
No one
that you
caught.
don't
No
look
one
good at
caught
those.
that. Never
You look
mind.
like
No
you
one
got
caught
dressed
that.
up.
No one caught that comment, but we're good.
I
Okay.
said thank you to your husband. I caught exactly what you said, and I'm just trying to talk right over top of it. But
Okay.
we're concluding business so we can go see what person's going to run the country next, and we will see you all next time here on Paving the Way.
Yeah. Peace out.